So, our last block of kiddos are teenagers, the 13 to 17 years old. So, some of the milestones that we'll see with teens is that they start to understand the gray areas of life and develop a deeper sense of morality and purpose for what they want in their life. They're learning to establish relationships. They're developing a self identity separate and apart from their families. They're also starting to establish their sexual identity and the need to feel connected with friends outside of the family. There's sometimes a swing between "I'm invincible" to a sense of deep vulnerability, particularly around what others think of them. And there's also independence that's growing for them as well. So here are some of the normal things that you'll see with teenagers: spending more time with friends, spending a lot of time alone in their room with the door locked, shifting personal styles. So one day they might be a goth, and the next day they might be preppy, and the next day they might be emo. Moving from hobby to hobby as they find the different things that they're interested in life. You might also see some mood swings as those hormones are shifting within their body, from door slamming to crying to yelling. We'll also start to see those intense first love romantic relationships where sex might be part of that equation. Masturbation is very normal at this age, starting to experiment with drugs or alcohol, and testing boundaries and arguing the rules. So if you're thinking about, teenagers, they're learning who they are and deciding who they want to be. That's the primary milestone for this age group. They're challenging, but they're also remarkable. And there's a lot of very cool things within teenagers that we want to see. So what do we do if they are really pushing boundaries and misbehaving? Again, we're going to teach instead of punish. We're going to listen, we're going to validate, and we're going to love them unconditionally. Pick your battles, because you're not going to win all of them. Be consistent with your expectations, those same logical, enforceable consequences when things happen. Still going to continue to model respectful and calm behaviors, and praise the good behaviors when things are going well. You want to make sure and call that out. I saw that you took the garbage out and I didn't ask, and I really appreciate that. That was amazing. Your curfew's 10 o'clock and you were home by 9:30. Thank you, because then I sit up and I worry, and I really appreciate that you did that. You want to continue to invest in that connection, attention, and relationship. We also are going to address unsafe behaviors. You can't hide or ignore that a train is coming and your child's on the track. So if there's, drug or alcohol use, don't be afraid to sit down and say, my dude, I love you. This is not okay. And here's why. And if you need help, ask for it. There are few parents in this world who have been able to raise amazing, awesome kids by themselves. We all need support. We all need our village to help. So, what not to do? Don't take their behavior personally. It's not about you. It's about them finding who they are and starting to learn to walk in the world in the way that's right for them. It's not to punish you or hurt you or make you upset. Obviously, we're not going to hit, we're not going to shame, we're not going to call names or belittle, we're not going to predict the future. You're a drunk, just like your grandfather. We're not going to say things like that. We also aren't going to rescue them. They need to learn consequences. There are few of us in this world who are able to walk around doing whatever we want as a train wreck with somebody behind us cleaning up our messes. You need to teach them how to manage those things in childhood. We also don't want to make the offense a bigger deal than it really is. Keep everything within context. You might be really upset, but maybe you need 10 minutes to sit and breathe and think about it for a minute. before you engage. We're also not going to withhold attention or affection or isolate them or treat them like babies. They're not babies anymore. They're not quite adults, but they're also not babies. So don't be afraid to have an honest conversation. Jamie Lee Curtis, the actress, said, "Well, I could do it for a day, but I wouldn't want to be a teenager again. I really wouldn't." Me neither. It's not super fun the first time around. So we want to try to make that transition to adulthood as supportive and loving and as painless as possible for our teens. It's already hard enough. So how can we best prepare them for adulthood? We can teach them self-care, to have a growth mindset, to encourage their exploration of who they are and what they want to be, teach personal responsibility, teach self-sufficiency. Our job as parents is to make sure that they can survive in this world when we're gone. And we want to be able for them to be able to do their laundry, make their dinner, clean their room, take a shower, and and brush their teeth every day. And it's also really important to spend some time focused on money management and employment skills so that they can take care of themselves in every way once we're gone. So teaching core skills like cooking, cleaning, paying bills. I know it's not super interesting, but they are super important for their well-being into adulthood. We also want to teach healthy relationships and boundaries. So if your primary romantic relationship is not a healthy one, you might want to think about what that's communicating to your child and how do we share with them how to be loved and how to love, how to stay safe and how to be safe with others in the world. So some of the things that we see from the research of using these strategies of positive discipline for teenagers build self-esteem, personal responsibility, self-discipline, kind of the carryover of the things that we saw in the school age years. It also teaches stronger interpersonal skills, stress management skills. It also teaches them how to plan versus react and how to respond to challenges in a healthy way. And it prepares them for this successful transition into adulthood. As we go back to what you thought about at the very start of this, about how you were disciplined, and what were some of the problems that you had with that, or some of the things that you thought were most beneficial for you? Your question towards the end of this is, how will you be different? What patterns will you break with your children that perhaps your parents weren't able to break with you?